What did that kid in your school do that will never leave your mind? When I was in high school, a kid was masturbating in one of the stalls in the bathroom. Then another kid went in the bathroom and recorded him from the next stall over. Video went around and the kid that recorded it got in legal trouble because the kid masturbating was a minor. The conversation turned to farts amongst the 7th grade girls. The new girl, short and squat, and as of yet silent, shook her head and stated, "I ain't never pooted in my whole life." It echoes in my head regularly to this day. I also say it whenever I am accused of farting because it is hilarious. In 8th grade I was eating lunch across from this very strange kid. I remember him picking up his milk with both hands and squeezing it as hard as he could. Then it popped and got all over him and his reaction was a disappointed look on his face followed by "oh man." One time at band camp, yeah, I know, a kid started having asthma attack, and as the counselors were helping him he started shouting this wasn't supposed to happen until Thursday. I still think about that very frequently. As a person with asthma he was either gonna force an attack on Thursday or after a while you can kinda tell a few days in advance if you might have one. This was in elementary school. He got caught stealing from the teacher's assortment of goodies that she gave away once a week to students. She chose students randomly based on a raffle system where you had more tickets if you were behaved. After a huge mess of him crying and trying to say it wasn't him, he asked to be excused to the bathroom where he was gone for a solid 30 minutes. The teacher got concerned, and upon checking the bathroom sign out sheet we discovered he wrote for the sign in time never coming back. So one of us went to check the bathroom and he wasn't there. The teacher tells the principal what happened and the police is called in. Helicopter was flying by and a couple cars. They eventually found him walking home. Imagine being this kid, trying to go home after getting caught stealing then having freaking police helicopters on the search for you. I was in art class and this kid goes, "Hey, check this out," sticks his middle finger down his throat and throws up all over the table. 8th grade SE. Teacher brought in a rubber dong, new in packaging, to pass around the class. Rubber dong gets to class, clown kid. He wobbles the rubber dong back and forth then sniffs it and asks the teacher why it smells fishy. Needless to say, never seen a kid run out of class so quick. Used an Apple remote 2009 times to continually play the "Sucking on My Titties" song on our history teacher's computer. She would walk away and the beat would start. She would run to the computer and he would pause it. She would walk away and he would hit play. Went on for like 20 minutes until she unplugged the computer. Brought a crossbow in and shot another student with it because the kid gave the police a statement about him stalking girls. He was very fricked up. In high school there was this kid who wouldn't have a conversation with anyone, spent 4 years with a dude in the same class and never have I seen him say more than "okay, sure," by even though everyone tried talking to him to cheer him up. We thought something was wrong or he was just shy. He would just sit on his desk all day and look right in front of him unless disturbed until one day we had a big school fight. Those happen a lot in my country. No one expected him to show up since he wasn't friendly with any of us, but dude showed up and proceeded to beat up 5-6 guys on his own like a freaking wrecking ball in a construction site. Crap, looked like one of those cheesy martial arts movies. After the fight he came back, grabbed his stuff, said bye like it was nothing and just fricked off. I still suspect to this day he was a robot. No, not a robot, just the main character. Had that sweet plot armor protecting him. A science teacher in my school was cool if a little weird, not in a pedophile type way. His room was always open for the kids to hang out in. He spent a lot of his own time and I suspect money managing an animal club which the kids were responsible for looking after. We had hundreds of different animals from hissing cockroaches to snakes to a 3-foot iguana, mice to chipmunks to chinchillas. He also liked to tell cool stories about his own life, such as the pigs that he kept, rasher and bacon, his caving experiences, sailing experiences, etc. He would spend his own time helping students that were struggling and give them extra tutoring if warranted. However, he never tolerated laziness or attitudes and would call out students that couldn't be bothered, which is where this kid comes in. This kid made a comic book depicting the science teacher violating the students, male and female, while saying his little catchphrases. It was found and brought to said science teacher's attention. A meeting happened with the senior management in the school where they brought the kid's mom and the teacher in. This 6-foot massive teacher with a huge ginger beard cried and said he had never experienced anything like it in his life before now. Even the rest of us hated this kid for what happened, and at that age we were really immature. Some girl changed her tampon in the middle of class in 7th grade. Girls at my school would do this until they ended the 2 bathroom breaks a semester limit. In middle school, there was this girl whose long hair kept spilling onto my desk. I asked for her to move her seat, or her hair, and she turned around and freaking hissed at me. Couple weird goth kids hid behind the bleachers during gym class and stuck chili flakes in their dong holes. Not sure what kind of pain for pleasure they were going for, but they both had to leave school early because of it. Saved his pee for a whole week or month, I forgot, and then sprayed it on all the handrails at school. Eventually he was ratted out by someone, and the VP came to get him in my homeroom class and confronted him and our teacher about the accusations. He said it was just apple juice and he was just joking about it, and right when the teacher went to sniff and take a sip from the bottle he yells, alright, it's pee." I thought he had just not pee for that long and applied the pee with his actual genitals. Stole around a dozen textbooks, brought them into the boys' washroom, and burned them, setting the whole washroom on fire. A 10th grade girl got arrested coming out of school one day when I was a senior. Nobody really knew why. Then a few weeks later it turns out she was a pimp and was pimping out other high school girls to adult men. In the 1st grade, a kid next to me was chewing on a pen and it ended up exploding in his mouth. Raised his hand to go to the bathroom. When the teacher called on him, he went to open his mouth to ask to go to the bathroom and the ink just started leaking out. Kid was caught furiously violating himself in the bathroom in 6th grade and gained the nickname Spanky until HS graduation. He did a lot of strange things, but the one I'll never forget is he stuck his pinky in a pencil sharpener that year and turned the crank as hard as he could. Went around showing other students pictures from a murder and laughing while showing them. Then hung a Freddy Krueger mask on his locker with a note complaining about not getting attention. Kid in 1st grade with me. We had the 6th graders come and read harder level books with us. Reading buddies as they were called. We had a kid named Mateo who was inspired by his reading buddy. His buddy dared him to shove a rock up his nose. Mateo did. Then proceeded to tell the teacher and head to the nurse. Nurse just got it stuck farther and had to be sent home. No idea what happened after. If he had the doctor get it or sneezed it out. Same kid also wore a pumpkin costume, fell over and couldn't get up. Looked like the scene in A Christmas Story where Ralphie's brother falls in the snow with all his coats on. Back in elementary school there was a kid who poured gravel into his ears. The dude would constantly run on his arms and legs, all fours, through the hallways or any random time. Oddest thing I'd ever seen. I sometimes do that on stairs. Kid spanked it to a movie in Spanish class where a couple girls danced in the rain. Dang, I had a kid who did the same in English while we were watching Of Mice and Men. I went to Catholic school and during mass this girl sitting next to me didn't fully get up, but just sort of squatted and started peeing in the pew next to me. Girls wore skirts as part of their uniform. She left the school shortly after. Also had a kid who would get a nice big ball of spit in his mouth then let it drop out of his mouth into his shirt pocket. He said he was saving it for later. Catholic school is weird, folks. I remember a girl in 2007 who was banged by the dad of one of her peers. Yes, it was Catholic school too. Turns out that he divorced his wife back then and 10 years later he and my classmate found each other again. They're about to get married this year. This kid in my computer literacy class in high school would talk to me nearly every day about his imaginary dragon girlfriend and how beautiful she was. Yo, but how weird would it be if he said she was ugly? He peed on some random girl's head when she was at her locker. This was in like 7th grade or so. Pretty sure he got attention for like a week, but his social detention lasted much longer. In high school, a guy I knew but never really hung out with, just had a class together, comes up to me during lunch holding the largest set of mortar fireworks I have ever seen. He said, "Watch this," begins walking towards the stairwell entrance. As soon as he disappeared behind through the doorway, boom, loads of colored explosions shoot out. Everyone's freaking out running around. First day of high school UK, age 11. Kid found a pair of badly soiled boxer shorts in an outdoor bin that had clearly been there all summer. I'm talking caked in a 1/4-inch layer of dried crap. Proceeded to put them on his head and start chasing groups of people around the playground. Not the best first impression to make when starting a new school. The poor guy never really pulled himself out of the social rut he dived headfirst into that day. He had his entire arm down his pants during orchestra. He was playing his trombone. Unzipped his pants with his teeth in the cafeteria, proving he could suck himself off. It was disturbing. He is now on the craxical list and looks 10x as creepy as he did back then. In my first year of university there was a kid who wore a dinosaur head covering hat that had a cape attached to it and would walk around campus just staring at people. My friend asked him one day what his name was and he replied with King Rata. Weird kid. Haven't seen him since. This man will be the ruler of the dinosaurs after the meteor wiped out human life and lizards are the rulers of Earth. A kid I knew took a poo in his hands and painted the walls in the boys' bathroom. Did not return next day. Next I heard him. He messaged me on FB, hey man, what up? You pooping the walls man, that's what's up. Threw a desk at a teacher and it ended up hitting another student. I had a desk thrown at me in 10th grade. Ha. There was a kid who carried knives around in his backpack and was accused of violating a girl in his car at a park that isn't too far away from where I live. He was charged and got out on bail but was expelled. He got a job at a store also near my neighborhood and was caught for retail theft. Apparently his mom would come in and he would skip scanning some stuff. He had just moved to our school that year and every girl had a crush on him until this happened. What seemed to be his mother used to come in and spoon feed him in the middle of the yard while all the other kids played but men watched. Some were buttholes and said stuff. He was a completely able-bodied kid of about 9-10 years of age. You could see it in his eyes that it was killing him, and that the whole thing was about her. Christ, I haven't thought about that in years. Looking back as adult, I feel disgusted. There was this kid at my school who would come into the boys' washroom and literally take a crap in the urinal. One time I walked in on the kid squatting over the urinal and he immediately got up, washed his hands and said, "Dude, look, someone crapped at that urinal." He then walked out. I feel so bad for the janitor. The mystery of the urinal juice isn't so a mystery anymore. A girl I went to high school with who seemed sweet, quiet and friendly. She was perfectly normal. She turned out to be a huge mess. One day, a few years later, she beat her 5-year-old stepdaughter to death for not cleaning her room. One day in 5th grade a kid's mom brought cupcakes and ice cream for the class and we went outside for recess to eat them. The overweight kid, who I always tried to be nice to because I'm pretty sure she had crappy parents, ate too many of these cupcakes and threw up on the playground. But she proceeded to tell everyone she was fine and was alright to go play some more. Not even 5 minutes later I'm standing by the door to the entrance to the school and I smell the most horrible smell and look over and of course, it's the same kid standing next to me. She got real close and whispered to me I just crapped my pants. She told everyone who walked by before then that, until the teacher called her mom to pick her up. Weirdest moment of my life because I'm not sure why she would tell everyone that. Girl would put a piece of bread in her mouth and proceed to roll the wet soggy bread mass into a ball. She would then take the ball out and look at it, and then put it back into her mouth, over and over again. First day of 1st grade a kid shoved a pencil through his own hand, and then just calmly told the teacher and got escorted out of the room. He never came back. Shot at a school bus and killed a girl on board. That kid in our German class was arguing with the teacher about how he doesn't want to study anymore. Didn't hear the whole conversation, but one brilliant quote I heard loosely translates to, "I am a god. I can delete you." We were 14 at the time. This kid used to drink cups of ranch dressing at lunch, and nothing else. He would have 15-20 of those little ketchup cups loaded on his tray and he'd start slurping it down. Pretty sure he had some kind of mental disability so I don't want to rag on him too hard but just watching him do that every day turned me off of ranch for a few years. Alternative theory, he was hungry and his parents wouldn't give him money for lunch so he went with the most caloric item on the condiments table. This guy would just combine all of his food at lunch, including the drink, into a weird soup and eat it like that, no matter what we were eating. One guy threw the Wi-Fi router in the library into a wall and broke it. We got a better one after that though, so we all called him Wi-Fi Jesus. You have been visited by the doggo of exquisite pizza taste. Good memes and tasty streets will come to you, but only if you comment "eat tasty, Papa." If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.